Welcome to our new video regarding science and technology part 1 by Dr. Sanjay Mohite sir. First, I welcome all the students who are joining our video session. In this our YouTube video, you are going to get how to write your first semester paper, and here we are covering the following 5 topics. The topics are gravitation, periodic classification of elements, types of chemical reaction, effect of electric current and heat. From this video, you will come to know that what are the important questions and how to write your answers in the board examination. So let us start with our today's video of science and technology part 1. See, when we write our board paper, so the question number 1 always a alternative type of question is there. So here many times students are writing complete the statement as well as the underline the answer of that particular question. See that the board rule says that you have to write only the option of it. So in today's session we are going to tell you how to write the particular question and their answer. Let us move to the question number 1e. The question 1a is a device. See, it's a device used for producing current is called dash. So this is the question from the effect of electric current. We have a voltmeter, we have a galvanometer, an ammeter, and the generator. Now, where you are going to select any one of the option, and you have to write the answer of this question as an option. No need to write a question again, only the option. So a device used producing current is that voltmeter, it is used to measure potential difference. Galvanometer is measured to sensitive current, and here an ammeter is a device used to measure the current. So both the devices, galvanometer and ammeter, it is used to measure the current. Only the generator is a ability to produce a current. So our option of this question is option C. So you will write only this option in your answer, that is option number C, by putting question 1A and your option of 1 is C. Like this way you have to write. No need to write the full statement. So this is the question number 1. Now we'll move to the question number 2. The minimum velocity of the spacecraft to escape from Earth gravitational force must be. Now when we launch any satellite in a space orbit, it has to work against the gravitational force. So how much velocity is required so that the object is should be in the what I can say in orbit, or it should be in the spacecraft? What will be the minimum velocity? So options are 112 kilometer per second, 100.2 kilometer per second, 1.12 kilometer per second, and 0.112 kilometer per second. See, basically we are asking the question always in the MCQ are textual based question. So you have to read the textual questions very well. If you content read very well, and the answer of this question is option B, that is 100.2 kilometer per second. So this is the minimum velocity for the spacecraft to escape from Earth gravitational force. It will be never return back to the surface of the Earth. This is again the textual part is there. I'll move to the question number 3. To prevent rusting, this is the question based on the topic called as periodic classification of elements. To prevent rusting, a layer of metal is applied on iron sheet. We know that the atmosphere contains water, moisture, humidity, which is a cause rusting. So to avoid rusting, what you will do? The option is you will apply a potassium on it, you will apply a sodium on it, you will apply magnesium on it, or you will apply a zinc on it. So definitely we know that to prevent rusting, so we have a process called galvanization. So you will put galvanizing means the coating of zinc. So the option will be here as a D, not a B. What you have to write? You have to quote what? Zinc, not a sodium. Please remember here in the screen it is B, but the correct option is what? D. To prevent rusting, layer of metal is applied on iron sheet is zinc, what we called as a galvanizing process, which avoid the rusting. Now let's move to the next question. The SI unit of heat is, there are two units called, one is called MKS, other is called CGS. Then SI unit of heat is, the option is calorie, kilocalorie per kilogram degree Celsius, joule and calorie per gram degree Celsius. If you see especially this option number B and option number D is related to the specific heat capacity. Now we have two options called joule and calorie. So the correct answer is the SI unit of heat is a calorie. Now we'll go to the next question. The left hand side of a chemical represent, whenever we write any chemical reaction, it has a reactant as well as followed by the product. So reactant, product, catalyst and indicator. So always on the left hand side we have a reactant. Therefore option is A is the correct answer of this particular question. This is what we have regarding the question number 1. Now I'll move to the question number 1B. Especially when we write the answer of question 1B, you have to see that your answer should be one word, one line, and it should contain more scientific and technical terms of science 1. So statement of question 1B, whether the statement is true or false, and the statement is given here, an electric motor convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. So it is a transformation of energy. In a motor we require to supply a current. So and using this current, the motor is converted this mechanical energy into electrical energy. So the electric motor convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. The statement is true statement regarding the motor. I'll go to the next question, that is question number 1B. Now whenever the correlation type of question is come, you have to write the complete question, such as group 1 is called alkali metal, then what is the relation of the halogen, then you have to complete it and you have to write the answer, that is group number 17 is what we called as a group of halogen. It should be clearly written. In that place you can make underline of that part, whatever answer is there you can make the underline of that particular question. In the question 1B, another question is that, because it's 1 mark question, is the question number 3. Now you are given with the figure of Fleming right hand thumb rule. Now the right hand thumb rule of Fleming is related to the generator. This you have to keep in mind. The Fleming right hand thumb rule is related to the generator. Now the question is, if this is the Fleming situation of called if the forefinger, middle finger, and they are kept mutually perpendicular, then if this part indicate the motion of the conductor, then what will be A and what will be B? In this particular type of question, while you writing the answer of this question, against A you have to write the A indicate the direction of magnetic field, while the B indicate the direction of induced current. See, the word induced current is very important. If the student write only the current, then the student will not get the mark. See, you when you are writing the 1 mark question answer, your answer should be very particular, especially scientific words are very important. Now move to the question number 4. Give the unit of intensity of magnetic field. This is a very important question from the effect of electric current. We know that we heard all about the Oersted. Oersted is the one of the scientists who introduced the concept that whenever the current is passed through the conductor, the magnetic field is produced, and for his well-known work in this research area, the name is given that intensity of the magnetic field means how much uh, force is exerted by that when the current is passed through the conductor, that in that sense we call as intensity, and the unit of intensity especially magnetic field is a Oersted. Now come to the question 1b. For this is again 1 mark question. As I told you that answer of this question is Oersted, that is written there. Now I'll come to the one more question, that is 1 mark question about the catalyst. Now define catalyst in the chemical reaction. Now see, whenever though the question is asked for the 1 mark, student has to write some extra information regarding to that particular question if you have. Many times what happen, we are especially writing only the answer of that particular question, and you should create an impression on the examiner, because our exam contain the testing of writing skill. Those students have very good writing skill and followed by good handwriting and systematic presentation, then they will definitely get the good marks. So many times what we observe that student writing the only the answer of the particular question is asked. So if you want a very good marks or out of marks in SSC board examination, then you have to write something extra. So this is the we are giving the one of the demo of this answer. Suppose the question is asked, define catalyst in a chemical reaction, then what will be your answer? So here I wrote first definition. So the definition is that the substance in whose presence rate of chemical reaction increases. So you can underline the keyword also. Whenever you write any definition, you underline the keywords also. So a substance, because of the presence, rate of chemical reaction increases without causing any chemical composition change. Means the chemical composition in presence, in absence of that substance will remain same, but only the presence of that substance increase the rate of chemical reaction. So that keyword is very important, without causing any chemical change. It means if you use that catalyst or if you not use that catalyst, the product will be the remain same. Then what is the role of the catalyst there? The role of the catalyst, it is after using that catalyst as a one of a substance or one of the chemical, the reaction take place only fast. That is the only one advantage, and that is what we call as a catalyst. So if the definition is asked, you can write one more example of that catalyst. Here I am written example, manganese dioxide used as a catalyst in the following reaction. So here I written one reaction in a potassium chlorate. If you heat it and in presence of manganese dioxide, this reaction will take very fast and we can save the heat. So in that sense, if though the question is asked about the definition. Here I wrote the one example also, and followed by the chemical reaction also. This creates a good impression on the examiner, and which help us to get a very good marks. Coming to the question number 2A, that is, give scientific reason. See, whenever a question is asked based on the give scientific reason, we have to keep in mind this question carries 2 marks. This question carries total 2 mark, and the distribution of 2 mark is 1 mark for the principle and 1 mark is a explanation of that particular statement. Many times students write the answer of this question. Please see that many times when we get and the marks are get deducted in the give scientific reason. First understand what is meaning of scientific reason. A scientific reason is nothing but a true statement is given to you. What is that? A true statement is given to you, and you have to verify that this statement is true in sense of science. So what rules you will follow? You will write either law related to it, formula related to it, any statement related to it. So this is an important regarding any give scientific reason. And many times students are not writing this part, and they are not getting the answer of this particular question, and they are not getting out of marks. So what you will do, you will read the question first. So here we are giving some questions. So coming to the question number 1, the question is that it is recommended to use airtight container for storing long time. Now, as my point of view, suppose you want to write the answer of this question, what you will do, you will divide the part of this question. It is recommended. What? It is recommended. So what I can say, this is my part number 1. What it is recommended? Use of airtight container. So this is what we have, the point number 2. Airtight container is a point number 2. And what is, why it is to be used? For storing long time. So this is point number 3 and point number 4. Now what the question is there? Why it is recommended airtight container? Especially they are telling storing oil and a long time. Then what our focus area? Our focus area is airtight container. So what is there in airtight container? We know that airtight container means we block the air. So airtight container give me the hint that block the air. Then you should know that why should we block the air? What is we learn in the 10th standard? So we learn the process called oxidation. So airtight, it means it is become an antioxidant. And storing the oil, so why especially about the oil? So oil contain a chemical, and this chemical might be react with the open air material, and it is because we use the oil not continuously, but we store for a longer period. It's a daily use material is there. So then we have the second number, third number point, and fourth number point. We have to find out the correlation. What is the point 2 ka second third relation, point 3 with the fourth relation? You have to keep in mind, and you have to write the answer. So let us see what is the ideal answer of this particular question. So here is the first point. See what I have written here. I written called first point is a principle rancidity and oxidation. So the word rancidity related to the storing oil for a long time. This word is related to the rancidity, and airtight container is related with the oxidation. So for these two words I am using the principle called rancidity and oxidation. So this give reason specially based on the two keywords called rancidity and oxidation. Then the next point will be my what is rancidity and what is oxidation. So here in the point number 2 I mentioned what is the rancidity. Especially if you store oil for a long period, it become old, or when we cooked any fried, or when we use any oil, so we 100% not using all the oil, some oil left in the vessel. So if this leftover cooking oil which we use for making food stuff and kept open for a longer period, then it react with the oxygen, and when it reacts with the oxygen, the foul odor, means the odor, the smell, the quality is, so foul odor here related to the quality. Oxidation is change, and this is called as a rancidity. So this is first point I explained. Now I'll go to the next point. Now what is oxidation? But if we use or reuse such oil again and again, its taste changes. The second point, and if you use for a longer period, it is called air oxidation. Especially I use the keyword of science in a bold and red color. Whenever you write the answer of your question, especially in the science, see that all the technical terms related to science should be present. Air oxidation. And if you airtight, now what happened with airtight? If you airtight, the reaction stop, and which increase the life shell of that oil, and it act as the antioxidant. So see the my keyword in this answer: antioxidant, air oxidation, rancidity. So these student keep in mind that while writing the answer of this particular question, this is one of the sample answer is given for one of the give reason. For all the give reason, you should follow the same rule. Now let us move to the next give reason. A tungsten metal is used to make solenoid type of coil in an electric bulb. Now again here I suggest that you will categorize the word. Now this is what the tungsten metal. So this is my point number 1. So this is point 1 to be focused. Why tungsten metal? There are so many metals, but why tungsten? Then used. So we can use many metals to make a solenoid coil, but why a tungsten metal? What vegetable solenoid type of coil? This is my second point. Solenoid type of coil is my second point. And where it is used in the electric bulb. So now I have a tungsten metal, point number 1, solenoid coil, point number 2, and the electric bulb is point number 3. So in my answer, the following point should be reflect. What following point should be reflect? What is the relation between 1 with the 2? What is the relation between 1 with the 3? What is the relation between 2 with the 3? And all these 1, 2, 3 are correlated, and therefore we use tungsten metal. This is the criteria you have to apply for any give reason, because when we write any give reason, it certain follow some logical rules are there. So let us move to answer of this particular question, how you can write the answer of this question. So as I told you, the first you will write the principle. On which principle this work? So electric bulb, because we focusing on the electric bulb. So electric bulb work on a principle of Joule's law. In bracket I written, what is Joule's law? When the current is passed through the conductor, heat is generated, which is called heating effect of electric current. So again, the resistance also part, because the solenoid coil has a large length. So we learn in the lower class that more is the resistance, or resistance depend on the length of the conductor. more is the length of the conductor, more will be the resistance, and we have to generate more resistance. And when we increase the resistance, then we can see by the Joule's formula, H is equal to I square RT by 4.18 calorie, where more is the resistance, more heat is going to be generated, and that's why the resistance can be increased with the increase in the length of the conductor. So this is my first point of the principle. The second point, we have to make the solenoid coil. As I told you, this is my point number 2, because we know the greater the length of the wire help to produce more resistance, because if you able to produce more resistance only, then you will get more amount of heat. And how the resistance can be increased, and this can be increased in a small space by making a coil, and that's why we make a coil there. So that is the point number 2. And if we increase the resistance, means length increases, as a result the more heat is generated in that solenoid type of coil, and that heat goes to near about 3400 degrees Celsius in the conductor, and heat is converted into light energy and emits the light that we see in the bulb. Also, so it's emit a light, then we require a metal who should have a high melting point. So there are so many metals are there, but the tungsten is the only metal whose melting point is very high, and that is 3422, means point 1 and point 2 is says that we required a metal which should manage to control the temperature of 3400 degrees Celsius and more. And this is possible if we use suppose any other material than copper or tungsten, and they have a melting point less than, and it get melt, then we cannot get the bulb, maybe the bulb get fused. That's why a tungsten metal is used, because it has a very high melting point, and hence we can say there is no breakages, or no break will take place, and as a result we get continuous heat supply of light, and hence we use the electric bulb. Student, please see that whenever we write the answer of the question, getting and writing an answer as it is from any reference material book, better than you understand the concept and write that concept in your own word. But while writing the answer, see that all these scientific words are there in your answer, then we will definitely get the good marks, because we come to know that who is a really intellectual student and who is a normal student. So in a simple language you have to write the science. Now move to the question number 3. Give reason. Again, as I told you that when you write any give reason, we see that you have to make the part of that. We can get very easily than when we do the part of that, we can correlate it. So what is that? The first point is weight of an object. Means weight of an object. This is my point number 1. This is the point number 1. Changes. That is the point number 2. So is it any correlation between weight and of an object change place to place through the mass remain constant? So again this is the variable number 3, and this is variable number 2. Then in my answer there should be relation between 1 and 2, relation between 2 and 3, relation between 1 and 3, and 1, 2, 3 are interrelated, and therefore the answer of this question, or justification of this question, that is actual meaning of what we called as the give scientific reason proper explanation. So let us move to answer of this question. How you will write this? The ideal answer I am showing here. You will write this answer in your notebook and try to write the different answer of this in this pattern, and see that how much confidence you are getting, how you can write the answer of any question, because it's based on total science concept. So as I see that the first word will be the principle. So word is what? Weight of an object. So here I use the principle weight is equal to W, and W is nothing but m into g, and where g is the gravitational force of an object. So what is weight? So we can put here like this way. It's called commas. Means in bracket we can put this. Weight is equal to a gravitational force act on an object, and in mathematical form we can write W equal to mg. And the mass of the, because weight is depend on two factor, one is mass, second is the gravitational force, where the first point is mass of the object constant everywhere in any surface of the earth. Any surface of the earth, it means on the equator, on the pole, that is in the sense what we call surface. A surface above the surface of the earth, that also part should be present there, and that's why we written there. And again, this G depend on capital G, capital M and capital R. So G is depend on R because G is a universal gravitational constant. M is called mass of the earth. So this G changes because of radius changes. Radius changes, therefore G changes. G changes, as a result W changes, and therefore the weight is nothing but the product of mass and gravitational force, and due to change in a G, the weight also changes, but the mass remain constant. So in that way we can explain the answer of give scientific reason. See that whenever you write the give scientific reason, it should have a minimum 4 points, and the keyword should be underlined. And just I told you that the principle, the point wise answer, that is in a Roman letter I written 1, 2, 3 and 4, like that way you have to write the answer of the particular question. Now, question second A, which carries total 10 marks. So, out of that, the 3 marks is for our give reason, and the second B part is there for 2 marks. We have to solve 3 questions. Now, the question is, an object takes 5 seconds to reach the ground from the height of 5 meter of a planet. What is the value of G? What is the value of G in on that planet? See, whenever you solve try to solve this of question, then you have to write answer with first column what the data is provided to you. So first you will write the data. What data is what? Object takes 5 seconds. So it is provided that t is equal to 5 seconds to reach the ground from a height. Means if suppose this is what we called as a ground, and we can say it's the top of the building for consideration, and from here you are dropping the stone. What it is observed that to reach this stone from top of the terrace to the ground, it takes 5 seconds, and the height of 5 meter on the planet, means height is what? H is equal to 5 meter is given to you. Then what is the value of G on that planet? So then what is the relation between, they are called me as what is the value of G? You are provided with T, you are provided with H, and you have to calculate the value of G. Then what you will do, because whenever the object fall on the ground, it is that and follows a gravitational force. So we assuming that towards the gravitational force any object fall, then A is equal to plus G, and we have to calculate. So whenever you write the data, it should be plus sign should be reflect there. And what I will use? I will use S is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 AT square. So what is S value? So S is nothing but the height. U is the initial velocity. Initially it is at rest. So U is equal to 0. T is equal to 5. 1 by 2. A is nothing but the gravitational force as a G. And T value we have a 5 square. But here H is given as a 5 meter. So we'll write H is equal to 5. 0 multiplied by 5 is 0 plus 1 by 2 into G into 5 square is 25. Now this phi is equal to 25 by 2 into g. We have to calculate the value of g. So if you transfer on the left hand side, now this value will be reciprocate. The 2 will go in the numerator and 25 will come in the denominator. So I'll got 10 by 25 is equal to g. Then what I will do here, I will multiply by 4 in the denominator and multiply by 4 in the numerator. I'll get simply 400 in the numerator divided by the 100 in the 40, not 400, pardon please. So this is 40. So this 0 and this 0 get cancelled. So I'll get g is equal to 0.4 meter per second square. So the value of g on that planet is g is equal to, we have 0.4 meter per second square. So how you can write the data of this particular question? Here I given a detail also of that particular question. The data, you can use this value and after subtracting the value you will get as an answer g is equal to 0.4 meter per second square. See, whenever you write particular answer, the unit also play a very important role. Now let us move to the second question. Answer the following question. And here question is, a reaction is given to you, that is what we call limestone is heated. Limestone is what heated, then what will be at A and B? So identify A and B from the following table and complete the and write the chemical equation. So two questions are asked here, what is A, what is B, and you have to write the chemical equation also. Then what will be my answer? So first I am writing a chemical equation. So due to some printing error, I am giving the answer of this question like this. So you will copy here. See, calcium oxide, you will write CaCO3, then followed by arrow, then heat you are providing, so triangle, and CaO plus CO2. While writing any chemical reaction, please remember that it should be chemically balanced. Its states also mentioned. So here I am writing state, it is in a solid state, it is in a solid state, and arrow already mentioned, therefore it is in a gaseous state. Then you have to write the molecular formulas name in English. So this is calcium carbonate, this is what we have calcium, this is calcium carbonate, this is calcium carbonate which is here, this is calcium oxide, that is CaO, and carbon dioxide. So if your chemical reaction state, triangle, and these names are mentioned, then only you will get the marks, that is carries 1 mark for that. Against this says that what will be A and B. So when we heat a calcium carbonate, we get calcium oxide and CO2. So against A, you will write calcium oxide. You can see here in the answer of this particular question, I write CaO, and I also written the English name of that, that is scientific name what we call calcium oxide, followed by the common name. So because CaO is called as a quicklime or a lime, and in B we have write the carbon dioxide, the arrow, and in the word both it is written. Like this way you have to answer this particular question. Now move to the question number 3. Many times the question asked based on distinguish between. Now here the question is asked between the AC current and DC current. See, whenever question is asked, especially distinguish between, many times we learn alternating current as on the left side and the direct current on the right side. So sometime the examiner asks the question in a reverse way. That is, in the left, instead of direct, they will give you as a direct current and alternate, and the students are not observing the question, not reading the question properly, and directly they are writing their answers. So please see that what question is asked. Here question is asked alternating current and direct current. So your left column will be a alternating current and the next column is a direct current. One more thing you have to remember, that whenever distinguish between is there, in a model answer we explained that always your distinguish between should be followed by three columns. So here I made it that my first column is point, second column is AC, that is alternating current, and the second column is that is third column, what we called as a direct current. So here I mentioned the point. The first point focus on the direction, in which direction alternate current moves. Alternate current is those current whose magnitude and direction changes after equal interval of time. The magnitude, direction, equal interval of time, these three keywords should be reflected in the direction. While a direct current is non-oscillatory and flow in unidirectional from cell to cell. So what is the difference between AC and DC? It changes the direction after equal interval of time, while the DC current, it is in a unidirectional. Now the second point I mentioned here, that is what we call the frequency. The second point is frequency. The AC current frequency is 50 hertz. When you write 50 hertz, see that H is capital and Z is small. Many times students writing both are small letters and then the unit is there, especially in physics, write the unit properly, and a DC current with the 0 hertz. Transportation means the current should be travel. We use a DC current, AC current, because it can travel, or we can pass, or we can transport through the larger distance without loss of any potential difference. Means at a higher level, if we send a 10,000 potential volt difference, then at the any level it doesn't drop any potential difference. Means potential difference does not loss. Here the potential difference loss, and hence we cannot pass it for the larger distance. So whenever we have a very shorter distance, say a remote control, very shorter distances are there, then only we use a DC current, otherwise we have to use AC current. Now next move to the question number 4 of question 1b. Complete the given chemical reaction and name the type of reaction. So here we have a reaction given is incomplete, that is FeSO4 plus CaSO4. It gives dash and dash. Especially when this type of chemical reaction is asked, read the question. Given chemical reaction, this is our given chemical reaction. Then name the type of reaction, and you have to complete it also. See, the completion is also there and name is also there. So many times students just complete the reaction, they are not reading the question properly. Read the question properly. See what will be my answer of this question. So first I am completing the chemical reaction. Here the chemical reaction which is mentioned here, still it is incomplete. You have to mention the state, that Fe is in a solid state, copper sulfate is an aqueous state, ferrous sulfate in an aqueous state, and copper is in a liquid state. So like this way you have to write the reaction. This is the displacement reaction, and I have not only written this is solid, you have to write the displacement reaction, and definition is also written there. What is that? Means I am not written only completing the reaction, but the type also I explain the definition of it, because many times we by heart this reaction, its definition, and we are not able to write it. So it is, you know it, then you have to write it, the reaction in which. So keep in mind while writing this reaction. Now coming to the fifth question of the question 1b. This table is provided to you and you have to complete the table. So the especially the red color part is shown there. It is an incomplete part. So I fill that part is here. The element is chlorine whose atomic number is 17, then they tell us that fill the electronic configuration. So it is 287, that is become total 17, and neon is 10, that is 28, and the number of electron to saturate the outermost shell of an any element of an atom is called as an valency. For a chlorine, only one electron is required to complete the octet, therefore valence is 1. While in the neon, already its octet is complete, so it will not share or gain of electron, it will be remains as it is, and it will be no electrons more required, and therefore its valency is 0. Now move to the question number 3. This question carries total 15 marks, and each question will carry 3 marks. So while writing the answer of this particular question, see that all answers must be scientific. What that word is there? All answers should be scientific, and the terminology, that means what the word you are using, it is of all science word. You required some formulas, units, these all things you have to keep in mind while writing answer of this particular question. So let us move to write how to write this answer of this particular question in question number 3 to get an out of marks. So in question number 3, the question 1 is an element whose electronic configuration is 282. Then you have to answer the following question. So you are given with the electronic configuration, and the question is asked what is the atomic number of this element. So many times what the students are writing when this particular answer they are writing directly answer. See this video is specially made it for those aim is to get out of marks in an examination. So at that point of view, what things to be keep in mind while writing the answer. So many times your answer is going to be 12, but see what extra you have to write in this particular question. See the answer of this question, what is the atomic number of this element. So here I am written, since the number of electron in an atom is called as its atomic number, and as an atomic number of that element. Electron as it contains 282, and electron its all shell means sum of all, and therefore atomic number is what? 12. Means here I written not only the 12 is the number of the answer of that question, but the proper explanation. So whenever you write the answer of such questions in science, keep these things in mind. Now coming to and another thing is that it is the atomic number 12 is the magnesium. So the name of the element is also mentioned here. The element is magnesium and whose symbol is Mg. Now the second question is that what is the group number of this element. Here also students are doing many times mistake. They are writing only group. See what the answer is required by the examiner to get an you to show that how you smart are. The answer of this question is what is a group number. So here I explain the concept of group number, or the what I can say statement of group number. The number of electron in the outermost shell of an atom of an element indicate a group number. See, a number of electron in the outermost shell of an atom of an element indicates its group number as per the modern periodic table rule, and here it contains in the outermost orbit 2 electron, and therefore it belongs to, or it founds in a group 2, only this group 2 will be not sufficient answer of that. You have to show your smartness regarding the answer of this question, because we learn this question based on the modern periodic table. The third question is, to which period these element belong. Again, what is the relation between the period and electronic configuration, that you have to mention here. So here I mention what is the relation between the period and the electronic configuration. So number of shells indicate the period number. So how many shells are there? And according to the periodic table rule, and hence it's belonging to third period, because three shells are there. That is what we call K shell, L shell and M shells. So three shells are there, and therefore it belongs to a period number 3. Now move to the next question. Now here again the question is, observe the diagram and answer the following question. Keep in mind that whenever the question is asked based on the observe the diagram and answer the following question, you should relate it which concept is related with the diagram, its definition, then if it is followed by its units, any law it is there, then you have to see the law related to that. Any rule is there, then you have to see the rule also while writing the answer of this particular question. So let us see what question is asked based on this. Now question is that this is the wax bed, and in the wax bed we have given with a 3 metal sphere of a same volume and heated in the equal interval of time. Then you have to observe that which element has maximum specific heat capacity. So here I should mention first what is mean by the specific heat capacity, and it is also mentioned that justify your answer. This is about the definition. So let us see first what is the answer of this question. So if you see which is go in the deeper, see the deeper is an iron. So in the iron I wrote Fe as well as iron, and the justification is that the amount of heat absorbed by Fe at equal interval of time compare with other two metal spheres, more heat is absorbed and more wax melt, and here the sphere of iron goes deepest. So not only the symbol but also proper justification is also written there. Now let's move to the next question. The question is, which has a minimum specific heat capacity. So minimum specific heat capacity is definitely go to the lead, but why it is minimum? So here I written the lead and followed by some justification. Equal rise in temperature, because we supply heat in an equal amount, should be equal rise in temperature, but absorb heat is a different, means equal rise in temperature, absorb heat is different by the different spheres of metal. Since Pb absorb less amount of heat leads to less wax melt, and as a result it goes less inside the wax bed. So this is the proper justification where we write the scientific words and technical terms. Now coming to the C question, define specific heat. It's a just only definition is asked. So here we are writing only definition, and here the definition is it's the amount of heat energy rise required to rise the temperature of unit mass. This word is a very important word of an object by 1 degree Celsius is called specific heat. Here again I not only written the definition of specific heat, but some extra information is also written. Its SI unit is joule per kg degree Celsius, and CGS unit is calorie per gram degree Celsius. Means though the question is asked about define, I written the both the unit MKS and CGS both. This you have to keep in your mind while getting an you have to write the answer of this particular question. Now the question number 3, identify the physical and chemical change from the following phenomena. So total we have given 6 phenomena are there. So transformation of ice into water, it is a which type of change, because the question is the physical or chemical change. So I written it is a physical change. But why? Since the composition of matter is not changed. This is what we call justification. This is very important while writing or while to get an out of marks. So only the part of what the question is asked. Beside that, you have to write the things. So this is about the physical change. Next, evaporation of water is also a physical change, since the composition of matter is not changed. Here I consider only the first physical change together, and then we consider the chemical changes together. And the next is the iron filling get attracted towards the magnet. This is also the physical change, and the reason remains the same. That's why all collected together, physical changes together. And the next 3 are about the chemical changes. The ripening of fruit, which is a chemical change. Why it is a chemical change? Because the composition of matter is changed, and when the composition of matter is changed, then the change is said to be a chemical change. Therefore ripening of fruit, milk turned into curd, digestion of food in the stomach, these all are chemical changes, and followed by the proper justification of this answer of the question. Now the next question is question number 4. You are given with the diagram, and total 3 diagrams are there, but at screen now you are getting first 2 diagrams. Identify the figure and give their uses, means the 1 mark is for the identification and 1 mark is for their uses. So let us see how to write answer of this particular question. So the A question answer is, this is what we have a fuse. So my answer is over here, but I written some extra thing. What is fuse? Fuse is made up of an alloy of low melting point. So this is our extra information. And not only this, but also the fuse is made up of the alloy called Pb and Sn, and they are found in 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere, etc. Though the question is asked about the fuse, I written the fuse, then it is an alloy, it has a low melting point, made up of which 2 element and in which different varieties you are getting it. Then the another part is very important. What is the use of the fuse? So at the end we are written the use. A use of the fuse, it does not allow the current more than the permissible value, and to avoid overloading and short circuit, this fuse is a use of it. So this is the what you can say the ideal answer or a proper answer of this diagram number A. Now next move to the diagram number B. The diagram number B is a MCB, which is we called as miniature circuit breaker. And what is the miniature circuit breaker and what is the use of it? To stop suddenly increased current, and it used in home electric appliances for its safety. It just like a one of the fuse only, but fuse has to replace, this thing has to not to be replaced when the trigger is get down. You can just trigger up and we can continue our work. So this is nowadays in our house the MCB type of circuits are used. It's the advanced fuse what you can see. The next is the about the diagram number C. What diagram C indicate? A given device is an galvanometer, that is the identification. It is a galvanometer followed by a 2 terminal. This is what we call shown with the black, negative terminal, red with the positive terminal. So what is the use of a galvanometer? To measure sensitive current, that is the first use, and to measure a very small current. Both has the same meaning, but it is written in the different wordings to sensitive current and a very small current. Now move to the next question. Here you are giving the passage. Many times in the board, the question based on the paragraph is also asked, and the student may in confusion or maybe in the impression that when the read the passage type of question comes in specially science, they are searching the answer in the passage or the text of the passage and they are writing as it is. This is not the thing is in the science. The passage is the information. Passage is an information. You have to convert the information into knowledge, and after converting into knowledge, what you understood, what you learn, that you have to write in your answer. So maybe not all text will come in the answer from the passage. What you understood, that will also very important things. Question 1a is heat is transferred from where to where. So first thing, whenever this passage type of question asked, you read the passage and underline the word. See, heat exchange between hot object to the cold object, important one thing is there. Then the decrease due to the loss of energy, change in temperature, both remains at a same value. Like this way you have to array, means underline the keywords. Now the question is asked, heat is transferred from where to where. Actually there is no need to read the passage. It's a question is asked based on it. It is not in. It is not in. It is based on it. It means using this you have to write. This is not the final one. So the answer of this question is the hot object to the cold object, that is higher temperature to lower temperature of an object when they kept contact with each other. This is the perfect answer of this question. See again, when we write the question based on the passage, the answer is written hot object to the cold object. Here this word is taken from here and then explanation of that question. Second question is on the same passage. Which principle do we learn about this process? So the process is law of heat exchange. This you have to write. This is what we learn in the textbook. This concept we learn in the chapter. That thing you have to write, which we will not get in our passage. And that's why I say that the especially in the science, when you write the answer of the question, see that the question should be textual and technical term, which is written in the mathematical form. Heat gain by object is equal to heat loss by object. Now move to the third question. They says that can you explain or can you state which principle you written there in the option number B? Can you elaborate it? So answer is yes. So how elaborate? The heat loss by an object is equal to heat gain by object. I written in the formula m into c into T2 minus T1, m into c. So you can make m1 c1, m2 c2. Like this way also you can write this law or principle in terms of mathematical form, that till both attain equal temperature. That is the answer of this particular question. Question number 3, sub question number 6. The question is the iron ball of a mass 3 kg is released from the height 125 meter, falls freely to the ground. Especially I am underlying the lines, that word, because to get in data properly. Assuming that value of g is equal to 10, and the question is calculate the time taken by the ball to reach the ground. So assuming the situation, here is the situation. Here we can say it is a ground. and here it is the top where from the ball is to be released. So if ball is to be released, it will come on the ground. So then what data you have to write it? So the first column is will be the data, and I will transfer data here. Mass is equal to 3 kilogram, height is s, which is 125 meter, which h is equal to s, height is nothing but the displacement, and freely fall, so freely fall, that a is equal to g, and it should be plus because the displacement of the object towards the direction of the gravitational force, that is in the downward, therefore a is equal to plus g is very important, and which value is 10 meter per second square, where all the values are in SI system, and therefore we need not to convert any conversion is required. So what is asked to us, that assuming that calculate the time taken, then it means you have to calculate time taken. Then you have a data with M, S, A and T, then we will use S is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 AT square. This is Newton kinematic equation. This S will replace by our height. U is called initial velocity is 0, time taken is to be calculated, so this will be t, and 1 by 2. Now this a is under the gravitational force, so a will become g, and t is r by the calculation, that t is given here to be calculated, so t square will be as a t square. This is to be calculated. Now put the value here. H is equal to 0 multiplied by t is 0 plus 1 by 2, and now this g, which is given at 10 meter, so I'll write this is 10 into t square. So h value is also provided to us. So hr value is 125. This is 5, because 2 ones are 2, 2 5s are 10, into t square. 125 by 5 is equal to t square, and I am getting as answer t square is equal to 5 2s are 10 and 5 5s are 25. Taking square root on both sides, I'll get t equal to 5 second. Then what the time is required or to reach the ball on the ground is a 5 second. So like this way you can calculate the answer of this particular question, and this can be written as using this, and final answer is written here, t is equal to 5 seconds. This is the part A is asked. Again the second part is asked here, calculate the velocity. Then for to calculate velocity, we have a formula v square equal to u square plus 2as. Then you will getting a velocity v square. U is initial velocity, become a 0 square, and this is plus 2. A is nothing but g, that is 10, and our displacement is given here. We calculate height as 125. So this is going to be v square, and this 0 square is 0. This is 20 into 125. That is the value of what? V square. What I will do here, it is v square. I split 20 into 4 into 5, and 125 is 5 into 25. Because to getting a square root become very easy. Not only the square root of it, only get the square root of it. So v 4 square root is 2. This is 5 2 times, therefore square root will be 5, and 25 square root will be 5. So which is equal to 5 5s are 25, multiply by 2, and therefore v is equal to 50 meter per second, and therefore velocity of that stone on the reaching a ground is what we have, 50 meter per second square. Like this way you can calculate the answer of this particular question. Here we completed up till question number 3. Now we will move to the question number 7th part of that, sub question number 7 of question number 3. Write endothermic and exothermic nature of the reaction. The reaction is given to you and it is says that what is endothermic and exothermic. So this is what we called as an endothermic reaction. Here we can write the definition also. And the next question is asked, given a balance equation of this. So NaOH, H2SO4. So this equation is not balanced. So now here it is balanced by multiplying Na by 2, H2O by 2. And while you balancing, see that the state is also properly mentioned. And here a direct answer is required. If you want to do the steps, there is no matter at all. But see, the final answer we are going to check the balancing the equation with the proper labeling and the numbers. Now the next question comes here. From the given reaction, we have a given reaction is here. Copper oxide react with hydrogen, gives copper and water molecule. Then identify oxidant and reductant. To understand this concept or to understand this concept, I explain something here. So what is oxidant? It is asked that what is oxidant? Oxidant means removes the electron. Removes the electron. Who removes the electron? Especially the metals, because they donate the electron and they all always cations because they remove the electron. So oxidant means what? A substance who remove the electron. A copper oxide is a substance help to another to lose the electron, therefore it is an oxidant. Then what is an oxidation? Addition of oxygen of a substance of removal of hydrogen, that we know. Then reduction, removal of oxygen. And what is the reductant? A substance donate electron. Here the question is asked about who is oxidant and who is reductant. We have to focus on these two parts. Oxidant, which removes the electron. Reductant, which donate the electron to the other. So here H2 gains an oxygen and get oxidized as a reductant. So H2 as a reductant and copper oxide is an oxidant of this particular question. And in this reaction, oxidation and reduction both take place, therefore it is a redox reaction. For particular answer of this question, you have to write only oxidant and the reductant. No need to write this tail part of it. This is for your understanding and for explanation. These points are given to you. Now the 8th question of the question number 3. The merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. While writing the answer of this question, please keep in mind the following points. The question number 1, that point number 1, the ambiguity regarding the sequence of atomic mass of a cobalt, that is CO. See, when you write the word with the molecular formula, nickel, that is Ni, whose atomic mass is same, then who is to be placed first? That is the first demerit of the Mendeleev periodic table. That is the contradiction part of that. Second, there is at the time of Mendeleev periodic table, he doesn't consider regarding about the isotope. He introduced the concept of the, because all the application related to atomic masses, but about the isotope nothing is to be mentioned. So there is no proper place is given to the isotope. And in the first next point, the definition of isotope is also written, that you have to mention your answer. And element according to arrange according to their increasing order of atomic masses. The uniform rise of mass is not uniform, means the increasing order is not a perfect, not we can say 2 table 3 table, it is not possible, and it is not possible to predict the next which will be the next element. And that is the drawback of Mendeleev periodic table. In what sense it is drawback? Because suppose the teacher says that write the table of 2, then we write the table of 2, so we know that after 2 the 4 definitely will come. But in Mendeleev periodic table it is very difficult to predict which will be the next element, and what is exactly the atomic mass. In that sense, the point number 3 is a demerit of Mendeleev periodic table. Similarly, the position of hydrogen, though the atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and it shows the both the property, I have the valency as a 1. If it is valency as a 1, it should be placed in a group 1, or as a valency of a 7, it should be placed in a group of halogen. So group 1 is called alkali metal. So it is confusion related to that, where the hydrogen should be placed, whether in group 1 or whether in group 7. That is the confusion regarding the place of the hydrogen. Question number 4. Answer any one of the following question. So here the question carries 5 marks. So this is a very important question. If you write this question very well, then definitely will get the 5 marks. The question 1 is observe the following diagram and answer the given question. The diagram is given here and the question based on it. The question 1 is about that. This is about the Mendeleev periodic table, just we learn here. Identify the above diagram. Means which diagram it is. So it is a AC generator. So it is, you have to write, or many times students are write AC. So it's a AC electric generator. This is the proper word should be required to answer this question. Only AC, only generator will not get the marks, because here we are using the ring where the one is clockwise and other is what called anti-clockwise rotation is there, and therefore it is a AC electric generator. The second question is asked here, on which principle it works. So you have to write the principle here, that in a variable magnetic field conductor is placed, a current is induced in the conductor, which is also called as electromagnetic induction. This theory is proposed by Michael Faraday, which is also called as Michael Faraday principle or Michael Faraday's laws. So in this way you have to answer the question. Only electromagnetic induction will not get the marks. You have to explain what is actually electromagnetic induction and who contributed it. That is also very important part, because it is also mentioned in our textbook. It's a working, you have to explain working in 4 or 5 lines. The only the keyword I mention here, that Fleming left hand rule should be there while writing the working, and working should be 3 to 4 lines because it carries 2 marks. And what is the use of this appliance or this device? It is to generate the AC current. Don't write only current, because from the diagram we are asking, because the diagram is given to you and therefore answer should be very specific. Now coming to the second question of the question number 4, you are provided with the diagram, and on the basis of the diagram the question is asked. Again the question will come the same, that if the question come from the diagram, then I have to write the answer what is actually given in the diagram, then answer is no. The question diagram is given for your references, and already we learn this thing in the class, therefore we should know. So what is mentioned here, the cathode reaction, anode reaction, about the ion. So these are the keywords are given about anode reaction, cathode reaction, ion, when the water drop falls on iron, and this is what we call collected rust shown in the figure. So question is what is the rust, then the students are writing the what is given in the diagram. So you will not get the marks for that. The correct answer what is the rust is, first I written the definition of the rust. Metal react with oxygen, form certain type of reddish color solid layer on their metallic surface. This layer is called rust. So this is the definition of rust is written there. Second question is based on it. What is the chemical formula of rust? Just I told you that you have to write what is here in the textbook. So the correct formula of rust is Fe2O3 dot H2O, which is not shown in the diagram, and students are just, it is not a copy paste. It is to understand the concept what you learn and you have to recall and write in the examination. Now coming to the third question based on the diagram, write the reaction of oxidation at anode. So you should know what is actually anode, what is actually cathode. That's why here I mentioned some steps regarding the anode and cathode. And already we learn about the oxidation. Oxidation means loss of electron. What is an oxidation? Where the loss of electron take place. And what is anode? You should know it's an electrode. So which type of electrode is there? So here written what is an anode. Anode is a positive electrode. So what we called as an anode, the electrode which is positive, which is we called as an anode. And if it is an anode, then it has a negative charge. Anions means negatively charged. So negatively charged attract on the anode. So if anode is positive, only negative ions will attract towards the anode. So that is the major difference between anode and anion. And here is the exact reaction related to it. When Fe is a solid, so loss of electron. So this Fe loses 2 electron. So in this pattern you have to write it. Fe loses 2 electron, and now these 2 loses electron is here. So this is oxidation take place and at anode, and the question is Fe lost 2 electron, hence it is oxidation take place. So write the reaction of oxidation is says, then you can write this reaction. The second question is asked about the reduction of water at cathode. So what is cathode? Cathode is negatively charged electrode, which is called cathode. If the cathode is negative, then the it attract the positively charged, and positively charged called cation. So cathode attract cation, and therefore O2 oxygen, the 4 hydrogen electrons, and this loses electron get an H2O. Therefore this is what we call as a cathode reaction, and oxygen is reduced which gains of electron. Here like this we can write the reaction of reduction. Now coming to the last question of our model answer, what is corrosion? So corrosion means you have to write the definition of corrosion. So corrosion, due to the various component of atmosphere, oxidation of metal take place, consequently resulting their damage is called as a corrosion. Like this way you have to complete your definition. So this model answer is an ideal answer given for the student on the YouTube, because to write what will be your ideal answer while coming for examination, and it definitely going to be useful for the student. This is the one of the few questions we explain here. But in board examination, if such type of questions are asked, then how to write answer of this particular question, what should be your presentation skill? If you like our channel, please subscribe. Your suggestion always welcome to you. Thank you for being a patient for a long time. This is such a long video, but still you observing, make a note and giving appreciations. Thank you very much.